Welcome, welcome everyone. Wednesday evening means Unifii corporate call. We all get to hang out together. I hope you're all doing well. As you know, we do this call early in the day for Europe, and we had a very, very high attendance there. I think that maybe the rumors are circulating that there's some new tech that's not only on the horizon, but is about to be released to you for you to profit from. So we're very excited to be on this call today. We'll give the room maybe another few seconds to populate, and then we'll dive right into things. I really think that we need a sample of the Jeopardy music to play right after we say that.
Yeah, I know. The silence is killing me. All right, pretty exciting stuff. We had some.
Everyone's doing well?
I'm doing well.
Good.
I'm doing well. Some very positive feedback from this afternoon.
Okay, so we're filling up quickly, nicely. Why don't we dive into things, and those that are just a few minutes late can catch what they missed in a recording.
Sounds very good.
All right. So first of all, again, we'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of you. Thank you very much for taking time to be here. We always appreciate it. We always enjoy these Wednesday meetings. And I guess we've had a few of them now. We're a couple of months into things. We're very, very pleased with the results that some of our leaders have been receiving, not only with our product, but when we look back on how our daily signals have evolved and the community that's formed around them. We're very excited to see that. We're excited to see all of you embracing stop losses and taking profits and weeks in review. And we certainly are happy that you've had opportunity to profit from what has been a very, very successful daily signal. And it's in that vein that, well, at least certainly for about half this meeting, that we're going to be discussing these items. But before we do, let's just do a really quick recap as to why we're all here. David and Ron, of course, assembled Unifii some time ago with the primary purpose really focusing on bringing wealth building tools, strategies, and principles to anyone who feels like they just don't have enough security, financial freedom, cash is one way of putting it, in their life. The idea of increasing one's financial IQ and helping them through this process to really take control of their lives. I mean, you know, we get on these calls every Wednesday and we just kind of, we review in a couple of seconds our purpose, but really, it's a critically important purpose. And we know that on the corporate side of things, every time that we're meeting as a group, we focus and are always reminding ourselves of how critically important not only getting this information to you is, but also helping you interpret this information in a way that can and will have a profound impact on your quality of life. I'll tell you, there's nothing more stressful than having too much month at the end of the money. And it just seems for so many people in so many countries these days, this is an ongoing and unfortunately an amplifying problem. So we feel like our purpose is genuine. We feel like the timing is very good for us and also very good for you to be sharing these concepts and these tools with those around you. So without any further ado, let's dive right into all the material we want to share with you this week.
That's awesome, John. And again, we want to remind everybody that we have a phenomenal promotion that's going on right now. So this call is going to be chock full of some incredible announcements and excitement. And so why don't we start off with, quite frankly, an incredible promotion. And we have quite a few people from all parts of the world taking full advantage of this promotion, enrolling 3, 6, 9, 12 people already, and also starting to see some duplication already as well. So we're very, very excited for those folks for sure. Their organizations are obviously growing. They're making significant income already, which is going to be even more money for them to be able to use with some of the things that we're going to be announcing today. So it's all good. Anyhow, if you haven't taken advantage of this yet, I hope that after our call here tonight that you will be yet more energized than you already are to be able to take full advantage of what we have here at Unifii. So again, this promotion is both September and October, and we're wanting you to take full advantage of this as well. Now, you all know that increasing your financial IQ is very, very important to us, and we certainly know that it's important to you. Should you really want to take a good run at accomplishing a lot of those goals, dreams, and aspirations, sometimes I like to put it, to retire sooner and retire wealthier than you ever thought possible, because that's at the end what we're attempting to do. And I can assure you that just being with us and being a part of this family is not only going to benefit you, but if you're like me, it's going to benefit your family and generations to come, because this is information that can be used over and over again. And the sooner people start using this information in their lives, the greater wealth they're going to end up having the ability to enjoy during their retirement years. So that's what this is all about. When it comes to wealth generating, we obviously want to diversify ourselves. And what that means is you're going to have some different assets that are a little bit less riskier, long-term types of investments. You're going to want to have some midterm investments, and you're going to want to have some, I would call them high risk, but high reward as well. And that's obviously not something that you put a significant amount of your money in. And these altcoin reports are exactly that. These are kind of like penny stock reports. This is the concept of getting in on Apple, getting in on Amazon, getting in on some of these incredible companies that at the start, nobody necessarily knew exactly what was going to happen. Well, that's exactly what's happening in the altcoin world and in the cryptocurrency world, in the blockchain world. There are companies emerging that are engaging in this type of technology and are using technology to, quite frankly, solve a lot of problems that are current in our marketplace today. And this is the future. So these are the companies that are on the right track. They've got the right people. And what we do is we have reports made up of the companies that are already on exchanges, already in their roadmaps and moving beyond a lot of the things that they may have initially came out with when they came out into the marketplace. And these are companies that are at the forefront of accomplishing a lot of the problems in their niche environments. And so these reports are really important. And I don't necessarily believe that they have been taken advantage of as much as they should have. And I do want to continue to put light on this, because the reality is you should be considering putting some of your funds in some of these. I'm not going to tell you how much, because we don't tell people what to do. We just provide information that helps them make better decisions. So please go in your back office, take a look at our newest altcoin report, Request Network. Quite an interesting coin and company with the people that are behind it. I think that you'll find it very interesting. Their score was an A, strongly considered. You need to read the report so that you can make your own decision as to whether or not this should be part of your cryptocurrency portfolio. Just so you all know, we certainly look at these with a very serious note. We participate in them on our own because we believe they're awesome. And we look at these as long-term potentials, which is exactly the way I put those in there. So who knows where these will be in 6 months, a year, 3 years from now. I have a sneaky suspicion there might be some really, really nice Christmas gifts coming along in a couple of years. This is the kind of stuff. And if you're not here now, you'll be crying the blues later, just like everybody else who thinks that they've missed cryptocurrency, i.e. Bitcoin, and they cry about the fact that only if I got in when it was at $300 or whatever the case may be. A lot of these coins are pennies. So take a good look. Now, I talked a little bit about this slide last week. I talked about seeing the future today. I just love that line of communication. And that's exactly what we attempt to do as best as we can. We provide you information that helps you see the future as best as we can today, allowing you to make better buying decisions. So as you know, David Dewar is our CTO, and you'll hear a little bit about him later on. He'll be sharing some things with you. But he does an incredible work in the background of taking a lot of the information that I know that I've learned and he's learned over the years, and getting it into the ability to be able to use machine learning to help us accomplish things that, quite frankly, as I was sharing with my wife today, would take lifetimes, multiple lifetimes to try to do by hand. And so we have this, we own this, this is ours, and you'll understand that what this does is gives us a significant amount of power to be able to create what we need to create, which is leading me into our next part of our presentation. Now, in reference to our current signals, we have a big announcement tonight. I want to go through our current signals, and then I want to talk a little bit about what's been going on in the background and what's coming. As you know, we have our daily signals, which are excellent signals that have been providing wonderful results for people that have been following these daily signals. And of course, accompanying these daily signals is our step-by-step trading with Binance. And what it has done, it really does give people that are using this current system the ability to even maximize that even more by putting in some basic rules, trading rules, that can help protect your trades as well as taking profit from your trades as well. And for those of you that are, plugged in, you'll realize that you can even take advantage of leverage, but doing it so very, very responsibly. The other signals that we have are our live signals. And I think that that photograph kind of gives you a little bit of an idea, meaning it's a very active signal and it could fire off 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times a day. And what we found is that oftentimes people were having a difficult time catching the signals. Oftentimes they weren't sure what to do when they were maybe going to bed and wanting to know whether or not they should be getting out or should they stick it out and things of that nature. So the live signals were, again, incredibly successful as well. But what we found was that the feedback that we were getting from the marketplace was that, in fact, they were too frequent and that it was just difficult to kind of stay on top. It sounded exciting initially, but then realizing that it took up a lot of their time and attention and focus when, in fact, they wanted to be doing other things. So we took a lot of this information, as we've been talking about for the last 2-3 weeks, on these calls, and our leaders have been listening to the people that are using our products, and they've been communicating with us, and so that we have a real ear to the ground through our leadership council and other leaders all around the world, telling us what they would like to see us come up with. So in that, what we ultimately did was we made some decisions. You heard me talk about what we've been doing in the background. We've heard me talk about the fact that we've been testing and retesting. And so let me share with you what we're going to be doing moving forward. First and foremost, what we're going to do for the live signals is we're going to terminate them. And we're terminating them only because if people are unable to use them successfully and use them regularly, then in reality, we're not truly providing somebody the value that they're looking for through our subscriptions. And what we're always trying to do is to provide the best value we possibly can. Now, the daily signals, on the other hand, are being used by, quite frankly, the majority of people in our company. And so we absolutely want to make sure that we keep the daily signals. Now, what we're doing with the daily signals is we're not changing anything except for the name. And in a moment, you'll understand why we're changing the name. And the purpose is so that there's not confusion down the line. And so we're just trying to get ahead of the curve more so than anything else. It's the exact same signals. So therefore, if you happen to be using daily signals right now as we speak, nothing will change. The only thing you'll notice is that the name has changed from daily to advanced. We're still going to have the step-by-step trading with Binance. As you can see here, it says advanced Telegram group. And so we're separating the super, super simple, which I haven't announced yet, with something that if you wanted to add some trading rules with, can actually help you to even profit more, which what we've learned from people is that it's a little bit more advanced. It does take a little bit more time, a little bit more involvement. Plus, This particular signal is also going to be going through some more testing as well. And we're going to start introducing even more aggressive trading strategies with this daily signal, which is now the advanced. So now you can understand why we're wanting to call it our advanced signal. We really want people to kind of grow into this signal. Well, if we want people to grow into this signal, then what the heck are they going to be starting out with? Well, the feedback that we've been getting from the folks out there is that people are looking for something that really doesn't require them to be constantly worrying about the price and really a little bit more long-term driven. You know, our philosophy is protect and grow. And so what you need to understand when it comes to protect and grow, you want to take a look at long-term, and long-term success happens when you know when to hold them and when to fold them. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we're going to do. Now, I'll tell you what, David has been doing some incredible work. This is kind of the actual signals that are triggered for the past 2 years. And you can see that what we're doing is we're showing you ways to win in a bull market, and we're showing you how to protect your wealth in a bear market as well, which is really, really important because we want to make sure that you're taking advantage of the downturn as much as you're taking advantage of the upturn. Plus, there's some more growth over here, more growth there. So the whole concept is to protect your gains and then turn your gains into greater gains. It's as simple as that. But we wanted to do it in a way that anybody can use them anywhere around the world. So, introducing our universal signals. Now, why did we call it a universal signal? Let me share with you. First and foremost, this is a once a day signal, which means it can only change at midnight UTC time. Now, UTC time, for example, I live in the East Coast of North America, and UTC time for me, midnight UTC time, for me is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you live on the West Coast in Vancouver or California or wherever on the coast, that would be 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that doesn't mean that this signal changes every day. What it means is it can change, but it can only change once a day. See, what we're doing is we're really, really dialing in to trend trading. The whole idea is to identify where the market trend is, what the future is of that trend, and taking advantage of it, just like I kind of showed you on that previous slide. The other thing that's really important about this universal signal is it does not require precision timing. I'll explain in a second why that is. But again, it's pretty simple to understand. If in fact this is long-term and there's very few trades, the fact that you could be off of 20, 30 bucks or even 100, 150 bucks at the end of the day means absolutely nothing. It really doesn't. So what does that mean? It means that if you happen to be in part of the world where that signal could come out at 2 in the morning or something of that nature, don't fret. Because even when you get up at 6 or 7, you take a quick look as part of your day, you'll realize that, quite frankly, the price could be slightly better, slightly worse, and in the long term, it'll have almost no effect. The other thing that's really important with this universal signal is that, on that note, fees don't matter because there's so few trades that the fees no longer really make a difference. Now that opens up a whole new door that we weren't able to get into before, and that's because fees did matter because there was a lot more trades. And so what is really, really neat about this is that people from all around the world are able to use these. There's no limitations to certain countries being able to actually access this. As well, some of our folks, you may or may not realize this, but some of our members in certain parts of the world are actually unable to get a telegram message sent to them because it's actually blocked by the government. So with this universal signal, It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you live. All you need to do is check your back office once a day. Takes 15, 30 seconds, and either the signal changed or it didn't. If it didn't, you do nothing. If it did, you just do something very simple, which is simply go from Bitcoin to currency. And I'll share this with you in a second. That makes this even simpler. What's cool about this is that you can now use any exchange you want. You don't need to be kind of locked in to Binance or BitMEX, where people get in there and freak out when they see all the charts and graphs and everything going all over the place. It's so intimidating. Well, now you don't even have to go on an exchange at all. As a matter of fact, what you could do if you wanted to is you could actually grab a fiat wallet, a wallet that has both fiat and cryptocurrency in it, something like Zappa or something like Uphold. I think there's a Wired Up or something like that. There's tons of them out there where you can actually just go back and forth from your own currency into Bitcoin and back and forth. And some of these wallets will even provide you a credit card if, in fact, that's part of their service. So now just think about it. You're now going to get a signal. It takes you about 20 to 30 seconds to take a look at. It protects and grows your wealth. You don't need to know anything about trading whatsoever. You can just open up a wallet that doesn't take you more than 10 minutes to do, and you are in business. You have now entered into the cryptocurrency world, taking advantage of what I think is a phenomenon even bigger and greater than what the internet was. I think it is, because this is going to cover things that has never been dealt with before. Dealing with people around the world, the unbanked people around the world, which is almost, believe it or not, close to 35 to 40% of the population, which is mind-boggling. So what this is going to open up for people is really, really something that I don't even quite frankly know what it's going to do. But I know this, that when something like this comes around, and they don't come around very often, you want to take advantage of it and be at the forefront, even though it might feel a little bit uncomfortable and maybe you're treading into waters that you're not very familiar with. You want to be ahead of the curve, because that's where the greatest success lies. So it's pretty cool. We have a universal signal that you can use anywhere. You can use it on wallets, exchanges. It doesn't necessarily matter how close at a time you get it, and you can use it any part of the world, and it's only once a day. Pretty freaking awesome. Now let me share with you something. A signaling system like that is really only as good as its results. I mean, at the end of the day, you can have a signal system like that, but if it's not going to reap you the rewards you're looking for, well, then how good of a system is it? So why don't we take a good look at what the last 2 years would have looked like with this algorithm. What we do is we put in rigorous back testing. That's how algorithms are tested. You go back as far as you can, you grab a ridiculous amount of data, the fluctuating prices of Bitcoin, and you take a look at the volumes, and you take a look at market indexes and things of that nature. And then you identify what would be the best algorithm, taking into consideration all sorts of mathematical equations. And then you create that algorithm, which is our proprietary algorithm that myself and Dave own. Nobody else has access to this. That means you're the only ones who have access to this. And then you test it. You then take it and you run it back, and you see how well would you have done if you had been following the signals that this algorithm would have produced. And this is how you test. Well, in the last 2 years, this particular algorithm would have produced 13 trades, of which 92.3% were winners. So let's put that in dollars and cents. If you had started with $5,000 2 years ago, and you had gone ahead and did those 13 trades, your ending balance would be $124,048. And your commissions, because there's only 13 trades, $893. So you see, the fact that we've now taken the fees out of the equation, that starts to open up a whole new realm of algorithms that we couldn't otherwise use because the fees were eating up the profits. So when you take a look at this, what is the actual gain over those 2 years? 2,381%, which is 14.12%. Now, let me stop. Does that mean for sure that's going to happen next year or in the next 2 years? Absolutely not. That doesn't matter if we're talking about the normal stock market or cryptocurrency. It doesn't matter what about anything. Nobody can determine what the market's going to do in the future. But what we have is we have the ability to make great buying and selling decisions based on what's happening in the future so that we can take advantage of the ups and downs. That's what we're doing. Now, does that mean you're going to get a 14% gain every single month? Of course not. That's crazy. There's going to be months where it's going to be less. There's going to be months where it's more. But this is averaged out over those 2 years. Now, what if you were in a buy and hold situation, which is not a bad idea? A lot of people are buying into Bitcoin and just sitting on it and not doing anything. Well, is that costing you money if that's you? Compared to buy and hold, a starting BTC balance of $5,000, ending balance would be $53,634. That's pretty damn awesome. That's like 10 times your money. Where are you getting your 10 times your money in 2 years? That's incredible. And that's a total gain of 974%. But you got to ask yourself the question. If you had these signals and you were following these signals, would it be worth it for you to pay the $80 a month to be able to have the difference of a 2,381% gain as opposed to 974? I think we all know the answer. So what we did was we said, well, that's 2 years. How about we take a look at the last year and see if we can see some consistency? Because that's what we want. Not only do we want great returns, we want good returns, i.e. through the algorithm, and we want to make sure that the algorithm is functioning correctly in many multiple environments. Again, it's not perfect, but it's pretty darn good. So what are the 1 year results? Well, 1 year results is 7 trades. So it's not like there was 12 trades in 2 years ago and all of a sudden 1 trade this year. No, it's about half and half. 85.7% winners, so not exactly the same. Again, starting balance in 1 year would have been $5,000. Ending balance would have been $34,770. That's not bad. We're talking 7 trades. We're talking, let's just say it takes 5 minutes a trade. That's talking about in a year, you invested 30 minutes of your life and you were able to do something like this. Total commissions, $228. You see, this is what makes it an algorithm that we can run that we couldn't otherwise run. That means your total gains are 595% in the last year. Average monthly gains 15.44. Again, can't guarantee these. All we can do is do our best to make sure that we're taking advantage of the volatility that lies in the market trends of Bitcoin. This is called trend trading. Now, compared to buy and hold, 5,000 turned into 11,180, $12 commissions because you have to buy it and you have to sell it. If you're wondering why there's a commission on buy and hold, you have to buy it and you do sell it so we can compare apples with apples. And the total gain is 124%, which is pretty freaking awesome. I mean, who's going to complain in a 1 year have 124% return? Nobody complains. But again, 595%? Or 125%. So what does that mean? It means that our goal is to beat the market. That's our goal. Our goal is always to ensure that we're saying to ourselves, where's the value? The value is we need to beat buy and hold. If we could beat the market 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, that is the winning formula. And that is what David and I have created. Most institutions will come up with this kind of stuff. They'll tell absolutely nobody. They'll use it themselves. They'll create their own financial institutions, get all the licenses and all that stuff to do all that stuff. That's not what we do. Our job is research, find the algorithms, and we share it and we do so through a subscription. We don't touch your money. We don't want to touch your money. We want to help you actually protect your money, and we want you to have the ability to be able to do the things that you want to do without us being involved in those decisions. We know our place. That's our place, and that's why we're 100% legal all around the world, and why we're able to do this, because we stay away from those type of things. So now when this ultimately goes live, and David's going to share with you when it goes live, and it's not that far, very, very close, but we want to make sure that we do it responsibly so that everybody's feeling comfortable all around the world. We do need to give a little bit of time so that everybody knows what's coming and how to prepare themselves for it. You're going to see a universal signal box, and then you'll see an advanced signal box. Simple as that. Nothing's changed. Just the name went from daily to advanced. Nothing's changed there. And this universal signal is, of course, the new signal. And the live signal no longer exists. So when you click on the universal signal, this is what you'll see. You'll actually see only one box, and you're not even going to see a dollar amount. And the reason you're not going to see a dollar amount is because the dollar amount doesn't matter. What matters is the algorithm has come up with a decision that says there's a high probability that the markets are going to go down, or there's a high probability that the markets are going to go up. Plus, we don't even know what exchange you're going to be on, or whether or not you're using a fiat wallet that also has cryptocurrency in it. So there's no way in the world for us to know what that price is. All we know is that now is a good time to get out, or now is a good time to get in. Know when to hold them and know when to fold them. There's also a click here to learn more. There'll be a little video that'll pop up, and that's going to give you ability for what I'll do is just do a little explanation of what the universal signal is and how we use it, and for the different types of people that should take advantage of that signal if it fits into their lifestyle. Plus, we have minimal to no training required. I mean, open your wallet, make sure you got some Bitcoin in it, and then follow the signal. You're in and out. That's it. There's no exchanges. There's no stop losses. There's no none of that stuff. That's all in our advanced, which is the current daily, that's only going to be rebranded to advanced. It's as simple as that. Let's not complicate it. I just want to give you another image here. This is the back office kind of blown out a little bit more. The top end is the exact same. But the bottom part, I just put a red box around it, is our Telegram notifications. So we're going to have a brand new Telegram channel for our universal signal. I want you to think of it as an alarm clock, because what we're going to do is we're going to send out a signal every single day at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 8:01, whatever. And it's just basically to say, hey, don't forget to check. Because we want to create that habit for everyone all around the world to just make sure you check. Now, again, signals may not change for a month, may not change for 6 weeks, or they could change in 2 weeks. Nobody knows. So you just want to pop in, take a quick peek, and pop out, and you're good for 24 hours. Simple as that. So you'll want to sign up for our universal signal, which is really important, but there's really not much going on in there. We, of course, still have our daily signal, and if you're registered in our daily signal, the only thing that's going to happen is we're going to change the name, and it's going to become our advanced signal. It's simple as that, or advanced channel. It's the same thing. Nothing's changed. We're using the exact same rules, same everything, same signals, everything. Nothing has changed. And if you happen to be in the live channel, then that Telegram channel will get shut down. But again, we're going to be sending out messages on those channels over the next 3-4 days, just to make absolutely certain that people are getting the message, know what's going on. We'll have links to the video and things of that nature, so everyone knows what's going on, so no one's caught off guard. Okay? Really, really important for us to do that. So I'm going to pass the call over to David. I'm very, very excited about what we've come up with, and we have more things coming, of course, but we believe that we have done what was asked of us, and we've been able to respond to the marketplace demands, and we've been able to do so fairly quickly. I mean, yesterday was our 3rd month anniversary. We've been in this business for 3 months. We've given out over $500,000 in commissions. I was thinking about that today. Over $500,000 in commissions in Bitcoin. So we've actually distributed over $500,000 worth of Bitcoin already to our members that are getting involved. And we haven't even scratched the surface. So again, I'm super excited about what we've done. I want to thank the leaders. I want to thank the council. I want to thank all of you that have been with the company, understanding that we're in progress, but we're certainly doing whatever we need to do as best as we possibly can. Again, we're not perfect, but we certainly do whatever we can to improve upon ourselves each and every day so that we're providing the best value to each and every one of you. So let me turn the call over to my good friend and partner, David. David?
Hey, Ron. Yeah, so as you described, we're very excited to bring this to you. We've been working hard in the background. We've been showing little sneak peeks as we've been going along, but now we're getting very close, as you can see on the slides, to releasing this to you. These signals are currently running. We just haven't turned them on for you, and we're planning to do that on Monday. So as Ron said, we had discussions with folks, the leaders, of when we should do this, how much time do you need, and the answer that we kind of concluded on was Monday. And we're going to do it in such a way as it doesn't impact you at all. So if you're following the current daily signals, after that signal comes out on Monday morning my time, so I'm in Eastern time as well, which would be around 8 a.m. Around 9 a.m. is when we're actually going to flip things over. And so basically you won't miss that signal. And we're going to work hard to get that up and running so that by the time the next signal is going to be available, the system will be up and running and all should be good. So as it says here, the signals will be down, but they're not going to impact your trading if you're using the daily. If you're using the live signal, we are planning to decommission that, as Ron talked about, so that will be no more. So if you're currently using the live and you're using that for trading, we're kind of putting out notice to you that that these are going to shut down on Monday as well. So that should give you plenty of time, just given the nature of how that signaling system works, to get out well in advance of that time. So you shouldn't have any problems there. So once we're up and running, we're targeting that by 2 p.m. Eastern time, you'll be able to sign into the back office. You'll see the new universal and advanced signals there, and you can start using them. So that's our plan, and we're excited about it, and definitely looking forward to helping you grow your wealth, as Ron said. And we sincerely hope that you get the most out of them and like them.
Thank you, David. Greatly appreciate all the work that you're doing. But it's just great to have a team here at the head office that allows us to be able to kind of go into our own little corners and do what we need to get done so that we can provide what we do. And one of those guys is John Kinnear. And John does just an incredible job of both teaching and training people how to take advantage of the business opportunity that's associated with Unifii. He himself is accomplished in this industry, continues to earn a 5-figure income monthly from something he built 20-something years ago. The gentleman is a wealth of information. He's a funny cat. He cares about your success, and he works diligently to do whatever he can to help you ultimately accomplish your goals and dreams and aspirations through our business model. So with all that, he's also very much involved and leading our marketing efforts, whether it's our presentations or whatever it is that we're doing. And so John has been diligently working in the background, putting together a new presentation for us. But I'm going to let him talk a little bit about it and what he's done, why he's done it, and things of that nature. John?
Thanks, Ron. We'll keep this very short, but what I wanted to focus primarily on for all of you was that, first of all, what we've watched happen with the daily signals has been, in my opinion, nothing short of amazing. We knew we had a good product. We knew that, even months ago when we were interviewing our early leaders and asking them what they wanted from a more frequent signal, i.e. the live signal, and a less frequent signal in the daily, we knew that the daily was delivering, both of them were delivering extremely well. The daily was falling into a bit of a rhythm, though, that I think a lot of you felt very comfortable using. And then with the assistance of moderators inside the daily and live groups, we've really seen this daily evolve into a complete package, a complete training package where our members are taking profits, setting stops, and other intermediate type strategies. And as you know from the manuals that we've also put together, and then also creating our week in review, which gives you total transparency on a week by week by week basis as to how those signals have been firing, and then how you, the members, are able to interact with those signals to maximize your profits. Well, you know that 2 weeks ago, our week in review was plus over 11% on the profit side. Last week was plus over 15% in the profit side. So when you ask sometimes how these incredible numbers are possible, well, our past 2 weeks are plus 26% in the daily signal, which wasn't meant to be the aggressive one. So we're really, really pleased with the way things have been going. And I know many of you are as well. I want to especially thank all of those that have been in those groups and are doing such a fantastic job of supporting each other. Troy, one of our moderators, comments all the time how impressed he is with the members supporting each other and answering questions, helping each other through processes where some may be a little more down the road than others. And I'm just really impressed with that whole experience. The reason that I'm mentioning this is that we also know that realistically it's between 5 and 10% of probably, I guess, the average person that really either would be interested in investing that kind of time in developing trading skills, or has the time, has the schedule available to them to do those types of things. And so as a result, obviously, we're extremely excited that the universal signal is here and ready for you. And of course, part of making that available for you is also giving you market materials that you then can very easily pass on to others. Now, you were noticing in our purpose and the definition of Unifii, we talked about 3 things. We talked about wealth building strategies, tools, and principles. And so what we've done, this is, by the way, your new product deck, okay? So you will not only, will you hear your CEO do a recording of this, and on your own replicated websites, you will have that video. It's a little bit of a shorter deck. There's a little bit less statistically and a little bit more, I think, emotionally in this deck. And one of the reasons for that is if the new advanced signal, formerly the daily signal, is for between 5 and 10% of people, well, then our universal signal is for the other 90%. And we do know statistically in the wealthiest countries around the world that there is an alarmingly high number of people straddled with credit card debt and other challenges on the financial side of things. If you take a look statistically at how many people in the wealthiest countries in the world have anything that resembles an adequate preparation for retirement, it's woefully bad. And so we really wanted to make sure this became a tool. If this is a product for the masses, we wanted to make sure that you had a marketing piece that was also for the masses. And part of that is that we needed to consider that many people may be still unfamiliar with Bitcoin. So the first thing you'll notice in the new deck, there's a little bit of an introduction into Bitcoin, a little bit of name dropping now that we're further down the path with companies like Amazon, MasterCard, and Microsoft fully engaged, with billions, with a B, billions of dollars being invested in blockchain technology now, and then CNBC doing all kinds of articles, including one this year talking about BTC is really the only asset class that has the opportunity of dethroning gold as the best store value on the planet. So these are the types of things that we feel individuals that have very little experience with cryptocurrency would have an impact on them. But at the same time, this is a presentation so that if you were to simply send this PDF to someone, if you didn't have the time or if you didn't feel comfortable narrating it yourself, you either have the video on the site do that or simply send them this deck. And we felt like this could guide them through this process all by itself. Now, one of the things that we've added to this as well, we do, and I'm not sure how many of you feel the same or hear the same, but we were having many people, as silly as it may sound, think that they may have missed the Bitcoin boom. And so one of the things that we wanted to do is we wanted to give you a little bit of a historical reference. And this is a historical reference. It's about 20 years ago. Many of you will remember the dot-com era, the dot-com bubble. This was around 1997, and tons and tons and tons of money was being shipped to Silicon Valley and to tech startups. Very few of those tech startups were any more than just a business plan. There was nothing built at all, and yet millions and millions and millions of dollars were being invested. And when that bubble burst, many people felt like opportunity was gone, when the reality is the total opposite was true. Because some of the name brands that impact your life the most were all born after that era. In other words, they were born on the back of the technology that was being developed and released at that period of time. So it wasn't the dot-com boom itself, it was the tech. And exactly the same thing is being predicted for the blockchain and the cryptocurrency universe. So A, you have not missed it, and B, the most exciting opportunities really are what's going to be built on this technology itself. So fear not, and this slide we feel addresses that. And then you've got, of course, a very, very simple but direct showing. This is basically our menu of products. We blast into the products. We just don't do it with as much depth as we did on your first deck. There's not quite as much statistically, but at the same time, we want to make sure people understand all of the value of Prosperity U, how it relates to them, how it relates to their current conditions. We talk about wealth building strategies. We're leaning ourselves a lot more, I think, to the plight of the average person and the financial challenges they're facing right now. And then we dive, of course, into your brand new signal, the universal signal, a process simple enough for anyone to use, as I'm sure has become extremely apparent after listening to Ron and David talk about it. And we get again into these very important but very simple attributes. Protect and grow, historically less than one signal a month. Absolutely anyone can participate. There's the cell phone showing the image for the universal signal. And of course, if we take a look, this is a little bit more. This is about 13 and a half months worth of data. You take a look at 7 trades, 85.7% winning percentage starting. So you've looked at some of these numbers already, 594%, 15.44 monthly. Obviously, there will be disclaimers in here. I'm making it crystal clear that this is probably not going to happen every single month. But if history is any good indication, we are expecting some very exciting days ahead of us on the back of the universal signal. And then, of course, we compare it to buy and hold. You've already seen these numbers. We also go into the advanced signal as well. And one thing you'll notice from the artwork depicting the advanced signal is that this is a little bit more of a process. And this is a little bit more of a club. People that really do have a genuine interest in learning, not only learning, but maximizing or squeezing every dollar or every BTC increment that they can out of their trading efforts. Because the truth is, Rod, I wouldn't mind you talking to this for just 30 seconds, if you don't mind, when we get to the results page about what really could happen. We take a look at the results from, and this, of course, this is statistics that most of you are already familiar with, because again, this is our daily signal and you already have experience with it. We'll take a look at those gains, 684% over the last 13 and a half months. Monthly gain. Of course, we've already blown that monthly gain out of the water for this month, but still that's a heck of a monthly average. But Ron, what I wanted you just to comment on for a moment is some of these attributes, like taking profit, that aren't factored into these statistics.
Yeah, I think that's what's really exciting about the evolution of the advanced signals is the fact that what we've taken is a raw set of signaling systems that we've put into place through our algorithms, which is pretty phenomenal on their own. But again, because the human is always seeking to do better, what we've found is that when we start to implement some of the basic things that we talk about in Prosperity U and start actually adding them in as part of your strategy, that's what takes this thing to the next level. And that's key, because it's these extra pieces that when you add with the main piece, which is the signals, that's what ultimately allows you to take advantage of these raw signals. And it's not for everyone, but if in fact you are the type of person that does want to squeeze whatever they can out of it, we're giving you the opportunity to do so. Some very, very basic tools, but it's going to require you to be more engaged if in fact you want to be able to take advantage of those signals. So what Dave and I have been able to do is provide something that is extraordinary on its own. And then as the community evolved, and as people such as Troy and other people that have been using what they're learning in Prosperity U with this signal, the results are truly astounding.
Well, and this is what has me so excited, because this has truly become a family affair. You've got the hard data, you've got the technology behind it, and then you have unified members supporting each other and really squeezing Bitcoin out of this thing in a remarkable way.
Absolutely. And the key to that, John, is that we don't touch your money. That gives you the ability to keep all of your gains. That's really important to understand. No one has their hands in your pockets.
Nice segue, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I didn't notice that.
With the big vault. This is, and again, everyone, this is the direction that we've gone. A little bit more of an emotional presentation for you, because now we're largely focused on a product that 95% of people are going to want to engage in. So the masses are going to be worried about things like this. They've heard stories of friends throwing a Bitcoin or 10 Bitcoin, thousands or tens of thousands, or mortgaging homes, only to have companies disappear with all of their after-tax dollars. The exact opposite is the way the Unifii universe works. Not only do we not touch anyone's assets, we don't make any money from any of their trading activities, zero. So we're exactly at the opposite end of the spectrum. How do we make sure that you maximize your gains? In fact, if you take a look at some of the data we're sharing with you, believe it or not, when you start using some of these, remember at the beginning of the presentation, we said 1, 2, and 3, strategies, tools, and principles. Well, here's number 3, talking about a financial principle that if you use it properly with strong algorithms, which we're bringing for you, you actually can get superior returns to many of the silly nonsense non-sustainable Ponzi schemes, yet it's in a business platform that can pay you for years and years and years. So it really is just a matter of getting the information out to people so they realize that there is a legitimate alternative that has just as much flash as the nonsense that they're often attracted to. So when we get into compounding, one of the things you'll notice about this slide A is you have the image representing universal signals, and you have the title, Universal Signal Compounding Calculator. Now, one of the things that's fantastic, again, about this tool, we talk about the marketplace. The marketplace is what? Ill-prepared for retirement. Now, there are some people that are ill-prepared for retirement that are 50 and 60 years old. And believe me, maybe they don't mention it to you and their close friends, but they are nervous. More and more people that retire that realize that those government checks that used to be enough to actually maintain a reasonable quality of life have gone the way of the dodo bird. They're absolutely dead and they're never coming back. Now, one of the things that's so exciting about this tool, and in fact, David has built this tool for you so that all of you will have this on your own replicated websites. You'll be able to pull this up and zoom in on your smartphone and turn your smartphone into a universal signal compounding calculator for your friends when you're sitting down and having coffee. Let me just show you quickly what this thing does. First of all, you remember we have a 1-year average of 15.54% for our universal. Well, what we're going to do, because that's an absurdly high number, even though it's factual, and it's an absurdly high number, especially if you're talking to friends that have some background in finance and they do have some money set aside and they've never seen that number over the course of a year, let alone a month. It could freak some of them out. So what we're doing is we're suggesting for demonstration purposes in the video that you'll receive that we're knocking that down to 8.5% to be still ridiculously insane. Now, what I want to show you this. The idea of this calculator, the idea of this universal signal, and the idea of the referral bonus that attaches to the back end of this is designed specifically to help your friends catch up, to help them recover from some bad decisions that they've made, maybe a lack of education during the course of their lives, or simply an inability to set money aside because they just never had enough coming in to do so. Okay, whatever the circumstance may be, and it may be different for everyone, I want to show you how powerful this is, even with the starting balance as minuscule as $500. Of course, we look at this, we need to have some months for compounding to really take effect. So in this case, we'll give it 60 months. If you consider a lifetime of bad financial decisions or ill preparedness, 60 months is far from eternity. We'll take a look at an average monthly return. Any guess as to what this number is going to be? 500 bucks?
More than 500.
Dude, when I saw that number for the first time, I was blown away. That is some serious compounding. Now, what's more than this, though, imagine if you simply added a small total, added a month, $100 per month to your starting balance, and you did that every month. Look what's going to happen to your future value. $100 a month bumps you up another $50,000. What if you added $200 a month instead of $100? That's going to bump you up over $400,000. It's insane. But this is the power of compounding. And so this is why we talk about the earning strategies of the wealthy elite. This is gold. This is why Einstein called it the eighth wonder of the world, which is why it was on the slide that preceded this slide. And then the last thing we wanted to do was this. We simply wanted a reminder to all of your friends that there are options out there for them. And there's certainly more than 3 options that we're identifying here, but these are the ones that seem to be getting all the radio play right now, the first 2. The first one is managed financial accounts, which is what we see advertised on television all the time, and something that every bank in any first world country has a whole division offering. The challenge, of course, is while they have long-term strategies, the fee structure is designed in such a way that it makes bankers wealthy. And it makes anyone in this industry, it pays for their salaries. The problem for you is 3.1% over a lifetime of savings represents in many cases, more than half your end result. Very, very substantial fees and a huge cost to you. Here's the other challenge. And you've seen Ron talk about this in multiple corporate calls, vulnerable to market crashes to the tune where a big market crash sometimes will take you 5, 6, 7 years to recover. So a decade later, and you're basically where you started. And then, of course, limited access to your funds. Now, many of our friends are moving in the direction of crypto schemes, coin schemes, mining schemes. There's a number of them, and they're very common these days. Of course, you do have accelerated earnings. The reality is it's not real money. It's simply a printout on a back office of a computer screen because they never have any intention of paying you. With 94% of them shutting down or disappearing in the very, very first year, it's impossible for you to get ahead. The worst thing, though, is they're very destructive in nature. If you recommend them to anyone else, often they're taking their after-tax dollars that could be used somewhere else to benefit their family, and they're dumping it into this nonsense, and the money's gone forever, and you feel like a heel. And then, of course, you have zero access to your funds because they've already been siphoned off to some overseas account. And versus our universal signal, we've talked about the simplicity. We've also talked about protect and grow. We've also talked about you keeping all of your gains and us not laying our hands on your funds. In addition, though, not only do you profit from market crashes, you thrive in market crashes. And then, of course, you're in complete control. All right, so that is just a little taste of what their new deck is going to look like, Ron, and they're going to see a very dynamic recording on the product page of their replicated websites very soon.
Well, congratulations, John. I think you've done an absolutely phenomenal job with that. I would think that everybody else would also agree. We'll make some final last checks, make sure the word daily is out and all that kind of stuff. Well, obviously, this is not ready for production, but it will be by tomorrow for certain. I want to end it off by basically sharing something with you folks. I was talking to John not that long ago, and I was saying that, you often hear me talk about generational wealth. You often hear me say that one of the things that I love about this is because when you learn what you're learning through Unifii, this is something that your children should be learning. This is something your grandchildren should be learning. This is something that you can get started with them. And what we're going to ultimately do, you haven't seen anything yet. But I think about my father.
It's 10 o'clock.
I think about my father who came to Canada in 1950. And he came here because he lived on a farm and there was no opportunity there for his children. He didn't come for himself. He came because he wanted to make a change in the generations from him moving forward. Some of us get caught up in generational poverty. And what we're trying to accomplish here is to help you to get out of that scenario and to break free into a new generation of incredible wealth. I'm the only one that's got a university degree from my father. And, you know, he looks at me and he passed about 7 months ago, but I know that he came here for the purpose of what I'm sharing with you today, to be able to leave a legacy, to be able to empower others, and to be able to change the future for generations to come. And I'm ever grateful to my father for what he's done. But I want you to know that you are that person in your own family's life. Now, you may have been given a silver spoon. I don't know your scenario. Maybe you haven't. But I want you to know that what was the past has absolutely no bearing on the future. What we're providing you is the information needed for you to act on, but not just the information, but the tools that no one's willing to give you. And we're going to give it to you. And you're going to profit from it. And ultimately, you all know the rationale behind it. At the end of the day, I'm being extremely selfish. And David, I don't want to speak for him, but I think that he would say the same. Our selfishness is to help you become financially wealthy, financially free, so that you can join us in being a positive force around the world. Now, I know that sometimes those could be fluff words, things that people say, but we're going to do it. And we can't do it by ourselves. We need you. We need you to be able to help the people in the Philippines who have just gone through a devastating, massive storms that have just decimated. We need you to help us when there's earthquakes that destroy places. We need you to help us when there's communities of people that have dedicated their lives to save, children that are being prostituted, just devastating environments, people that are laughed at because they have a disability and pushed into the back of a house and left there to rot. But there's people in this world that have dedicated their lives to make a difference with that. And one of the things that they're missing is finances. They need money. Anybody who says you don't need money doesn't understand how the world functions. And that's what we can be. That's our selfishness. Our selfishness is to be able to go out there and band together, create an army of financially healthy people that want to make a massive positive impact around the world. So I thank you. I thank you profusely for being a part of this company. I thank you for sharing Unifii with other people that you know that become part of the company. Please take advantage of our compensation program. Why do you think we made it so lucrative? We did so that you could make money with our products, and we did so that you could make money with our opportunity, which gives you more money. And by us giving you more money, that gives you the ability to be able to bring more and more people together with us so that we can ultimately reach the goal. That's what this company is about. We're a little bit weird. We're a little bit different. But the reality is we're willing to step out of the box and do what others may not be either willing to do or just don't know how to do. And so I thank you once again. I'm excited. Obviously, I'm containing myself. And I also know that there's a lot more to come. But what we've put on your plate right now is something that can help you for generations to come. John, thank you. David, thank you. Leaders Council, thank you. And each and every person that has paid a penny to this company, thank you for everything you do. God bless. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks all.